This is just a dress rehearsal. Don't worry. So welcome to the dress rehearsal. We're not live yet. So okay. Welcome to Unity of Gainesville on this wonderful, brisk, cool morning. May this service bless each of you on your spiritual path. Those of you that are here in person, and how wonderful is that? Those of you who are joining us on Zoom or Facebook or YouTube, all of those who are with us in spirit. My name's Ann Young, and I'll be guiding us through this sacred service this morning. Reverend Betty Martin Lewis is our speaker for today. She's our minister of record, and her service, her title is The Power of Blessing, the Power and Blessing of Letting Go. So, Reverend Betty, would you pray us in for the service?
Okay, let's just settle into that space within us where spirit dwells. Just taking a deep breath and getting centered in our heart space. And giving thanks that we come together in oneness, in fellowship, in love, in peace. And we're here to support each other on our spiritual paths. We affirm there are many paths to God. And the closest one is through this beautiful heart space, the I am of us, that is also called the Christ presence, the Christ consciousness, our higher self. And so we open our hearts, we open our minds, and we take in what works for us in this beautiful service this morning. And we contemplate and join in this oneness of spirit and bless our beautiful service. Amen and amen. So it is.
Thank you, Reverend Betty. I'd like to introduce our prayer chaplain for today, Rupali Robinson, who's in the back. Prayer is an essential unity practice. You're invited to stay after the service if you would like to pray with Rupali. There's someone here every Sunday before and after service. So our board member on duty today is the president of the board, Lori Mills, and she's out in the gathering area supporting the service and welcoming people. Our music is provided today by our own Kathy DeWitt. We're always so grateful to have you back, Kathy. So there's information about Unity of Gainesville, several places. One is out in the gathering room. It might be on the TV screen. There are printed things too that you can pick up out there. You can check into our weekly Unity email. I think it's called eBlast that Sue Henry Young puts out every week for us. That'll let you know what classes and events are happening, times, places, anything of interest, and how to contact people in the church. Also on the website. And we thank you for continuing to observe social distancing and masking and whatever we need to do to stay safe. And of course, if you're outside on the deck, what a wonderful day for today. You don't have to worry much. So I'm going to read the daily word today. And the word, the daily word for today is not that. So glad I read it ahead. It's abundance, I think, isn't it? Prosperity. This was not made, but here we are.
Ann,
Yes.
this song comes first. You skip the song, and everybody's
Great.
got a song sheet, so I kind of thought we should do it. Otherwise, I wouldn't say anything.
Well, thank you. It'll give me time to find the daily word.
Yeah.
Yes, we heard it.
It was our opening song, and it's I Release and I Let Go by Ricky Lee Byers Beckwith. You might as well, yeah. There was a time in my life, thought I had to do it all for myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the power of love is at hand. Now I can say, if you are discouraged, just try and make it through another day. You got to let it go, let it all go. And this is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. 'Cause I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the spirit. 'Cause I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let spirit run my life. And feet open wide. Yes, it's only up to God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. And I'm free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. 'Cause I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I'm free in the spirit. 'Cause I'm only here for God. I'm free in the spirit. 'Cause I'm only here for God.
Great. Thank you. Get comfortable. There's something I want to say, and I'm trying to use a new format. So usually I'm a lot more on task, but I really want to say, and I don't know where it is in here, but I'm going to say this. If there's anybody here for the first time, and I really did see some faces I didn't recognize, would you please let us know? Hand up, stand up. We have a gift that Ms. Holly will bring to you, a welcome. And so we're so happy to have you here. We hope you will enjoy your time with us and come back again. Wonderful. Okay. And now I read the daily word, and I know which one it is. Okay. Prosperity. And from the book of Mark, chapter 4, verse 24, and he said to them, pay attention to what you hear. The measure you give will be the measure you get, and still more will be given you. So the affirmation is prosperity fills my life. Remember that. We'll say it together. Prosperity fills my life. Current flowing through my home's wiring provides light, but first I must flip the switch to turn it on. Divine substance, the building block of creation, is the source from which my prosperity grows. But first, I must claim it in consciousness to live a prosperous life. The divine idea of prosperity is unlimited, more than sufficient to meet every need. I know true prosperity when I live from this truth. Giving freely and generously keeps prosperity at the forefront of my consciousness. I know the more I give, the more of myself I place into circulation, the more I will experience. As I give of myself, I increase the flow of prosperity in my life and in the world. So let's repeat the affirmation. Prosperity fills my life. And now I think you will music us into meditation, or is meditation later? Music. Okay.
This is a song by Karen Drucker, but also co-written by David Roth and Faith Rivera. They all kind of wrote it together. It's called Morning Song. It's also called Surrender. I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith. And I grow stronger every moment, every day. My mind is willing and my heart is open wide. I trust my instincts and let spirit be my guide. I vow to live a life that's really true and free. As I continue walking in this mystery, I will surrender to my highest, greatest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith. And I'm grateful every moment, every day. There may be walls, there may be roadblocks in my way. But I can choose to take a higher path each day. And now I know that I was safe and sound. Was only habit and regret that held me down. I will surrender to my greatest, highest good. I will release any fear that blocks my way. For every step I take is taken in pure faith. And I grow kinder every moment, every day. I'm more grateful every moment, every day. And I grow stronger every moment, every day.
So good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Betty, and so glad to be with you again. And I see many people that are starting to come back who have not been here before, and it's a blessing. And some new people who are finding us, and we just bless you all. And we're so glad to have everybody together here this morning. And this whole year, we've been studying every month one of what we call the 12 powers in unity. These are the gifts from God, the innate power that we are given as spiritual beings. And so each of the powers has a color and a power center, sort of like the chakra system. And we learn how to go to that power. We have that power in a human sense, but we also, when we have situations that really outweigh or are too tough for our human ability to handle, we can go to this spiritual power that's kind of like our superpowers. And so that's what we've been talking about this year in its entirety. And so we're on month 11. This is the 11th power that we've been studying. It's called release or elimination. And it's our power to let go of old things and old thoughts that no longer serve us. It's our power to say no when it's appropriate. So this is what we're practicing this month. And I know that last Sunday Carla introduced the power and all about, the meaning of it. And um, there is an affirmation that follows each of the powers that, and it changes, any affirmation will do that comes from your consciousness about letting go. But Unity Worldwide Ministries gives us an affirmation every month. So we've been using that. And so I'm sure Carla introduced you to the affirmation on letting go, which is, whatever I release will bless me. Whatever I release will bless me. See, we have control over what stays, what goes, what we release, what we maintain in our lives. So let's say this together. Whatever I release will bless me. And again, whatever I release will bless me. Now look over at someone else and tell them, whatever you release will bless you. And all together, whatever we release will bless us. So I'm going to do something a little different this morning. Sometimes I do my meditation after the talk, but we're going to go into a guided meditation right now on some old beliefs that we need to let go of. They're universal human beliefs that hold us back from releasing our true selves, our true power, the God power in us, the Christ consciousness in us, the higher self in us. Old beliefs hold us back. We want to change our lives. We change our mind. And so we have a practice, which all of you probably know, of affirmations and denials that help us condition our mind to release what needs to be released, to embrace what needs to be embraced. And so we'll be working on those in this meditation. And if you're like me, because we have, the great desire to grow spiritually, it's easier to do affirmations than it is denials. Is that true for you? We don't like to admit some of the stuff we've got to let go of. So the first step is admitting to ourselves that we've got junk in our consciousness to get rid of. And we all have it. So anybody who can strut around and say, I'm never worried, I'm never angry, I'm never upset, I'm never mean-spirited, is fooling themselves. Because it's the human condition, that we retain some of those emotional wounds and hurts from our past, and we drag them around with us in our consciousness. And sometimes they're very subtle. But that's our work to do, is we want to release anything in our consciousness that holds us back. And so denials help us do that. Now, this is an important piece of the denials. So if we're holding a hurt or a wound in the past, we're not saying it didn't happen. That's not the kind of denial we're talking about. Unfortunately, many of us have been hurt in very traumatic ways, and we carry those vibrations of hurt and pain with us because that's how we needed to cope over the years with this pain. The idea is to release the power of those hurts and pains to affect us now. Yet it's a very subtle thing. It happened, it hurt, but we have the power through the one presence, the one power, the omniscience, the allness of whatever your name is for God, can help us let that power over us be gone. That we can look back and say, okay, that happened, but I'm going to reframe it by knowing that I'm stronger now, that I can choose my life now. I don't have to be bound by the pain and the hurt that I've been dragging around. So we offer you these thoughts, and if you're new to Unity, take what you can use, and if it still doesn't make sense to you, then that's fine. Just let it go. We don't ask anybody to believe anything. We teach these principles, and then when we try them out, that's the whole point. Let's try them out and see if they work. Charles Fillmore and Myrtle Fillmore were the co-founders of Unity, and Myrtle was involved in a lot of spiritual teachings and went to classes and learned things. And she, over the course of a couple of years, renewed her body and released what was diagnosed as tuberculosis from her body. And so people saw her doing this as she prayed and talked with her body to release the unclean thoughts that she had, that she was weak and ill and sick all the time. She would talk to her body in loving ways and deny the power of this illness to affect her life, because she was conditioning her mind to help bring that spiritual power into the very cells of her being. So there is that power. And then people saw that worked. And her husband was quite a skeptic. He was a businessman. He was a realtor. Very down to earth. And he said, hey, I want some of that too. So he started applying these principles in his business and saw the abundance come, saw the prosperity come, saw the ability to solve these business problems in new ways that he had never thought of before. This is the power of these ideas. So it's worth a try, right? It doesn't cost anything. It's just shifting our mind and learning to think in new ways. This brings us hope. This brings us healing. This brings us, again, a blissful life, even in the face of pandemics. God is bigger than any pandemic. So we're going to try these affirmations and denials. And as I say, if they don't apply to you, then just apply the words to the whole human family, because these are universal statements of things that people struggle with. Maybe not everybody, but, because I'm going to name 4 or 5 of them, and we'll just go into a meditative state to say, I want to deny the power of this thought to affect my current emotions, my current behavior, my current experience, because it's old stuff. I want to be able to look at it in a new way, and put the power of it behind me to affect me. So we won't deny that it happened, but we relate to it in a totally different way if we shift our mind about it. So the way we'll do this is I'm going to use a chime, and we'll go into a relaxation and be in that space of spirit. And then I'll read a denial, and then you let that denial kind of reverberate within you. And if it works for you, fine. If not, just it's fine too. And if you want to apply it to the whole human family, that's another way of doing it. And then when I play the chime one more time, then together we're going to say that affirmation, right? So we're going to do a denial, and then we're going to say the affirmation, whatever I release will bless me, right? We practiced it earlier, so you got it. Whatever I release will bless me. Whatever I release will bless me. So denials and affirmations. So now I'm just going to encourage you that when I ring this chime 3 times, you're going to let those vibrations take you into your heart space again, where you are safe and protected and filled with God. Okay? Now taking a deep breath, beautiful cleansing breath. Let's deny the power of any wounding or pain from our past to affect us now. So just whisper to yourself, I release any pain from my past experience, knowing it has made me stronger. I release any pain from my past experience, knowing it has made me stronger. I release any pain from my past experience, knowing it has made me stronger. And now together we say, whatever I release will bless me. And now let's deny the power of any dangerous or limiting relationship to control or hurt us. And so just whisper to yourself now, I release any dangerous or limiting relationship, knowing that divine love is stronger than human ties. I release any dangerous or limiting relationship, knowing that divine love is stronger than human ties. I release any dangerous or limiting relationship, knowing that divine love is stronger than any human tie. And together now, whatever I release will bless me. And let's deny the power of any psychological or physical clutter that keeps us from expanding our well-being or happiness. So say to yourself now, I release any clutter that keeps me from expanding my well-being or happiness. I release any clutter that keeps me from expanding my well-being or happiness. I release any clutter that keeps me from expanding my well-being or happiness. And together, whatever I release will bless me. And let's deny the power of any fearful or shameful thoughts that feed the belief that we are unworthy, weak, or inferior. And so say to yourself now, I release any fearful or shameful thoughts that I'm unworthy or weak or inferior to others. I release any fearful or shameful thoughts that I am unworthy or weak or inferior to others. I release any fearful or shameful thoughts that I'm unworthy or weak or inferior to others. And together we affirm, whatever I release will bless me. And one more time, whatever I release will bless me. And so it is. Ah, and so gently now coming back to this time, this space in this room together. Just shake off anything that we're holding in our bodies and know that we're lighter now. We're lighter. We're releasing, releasing, releasing. And all of those situations and circumstances are just festering sometimes in our consciousness. And so we want to release any old thoughts or beliefs or behaviors that no longer serve us. We don't want our past to affect our current experience. It says in the Bible, it says, I'm a new being. God, I'm a new being. So today is the day to claim that you're a new being and that you're going to release anything that's holding you back. Wake it up. You can start your life right now, today. Just let all the junk go. So this idea of releasing is everywhere in our environment. We just don't notice it a lot. Of course, now we're into fall and the leaves are releasing. We see the whole cycle of nature as reflective of as our human experience. The birth, the growing to maturity, the letting go, the dying off, and then the rebirth. So we can look at that as our minds. Let's go through that so that we easily let go. And every time we let go, we're going higher and higher on this cycle of consciousness. We're going up in consciousness. We're letting go of the strictures of our ego that bind us to these old things. And just like the service this morning, it's kind of like a little wacky. But you know what? What's wonderful is we know beneath that we're here in spirit. And so we don't have to be perfect in our humanness. Our humanness is sometimes forgetful, sometimes sloppy, sometimes in pain, sometimes, we're beautiful human beings too. But we need to love ourselves in times when we're kind of off center, off track, and we all experience that. So if you're bound up in the bonds of thinking as a human being, I have to be perfect, no, leave that to your spirit. Your spirit is perfect. So just get out of the way of holding your spirit down. Because whatever comes up that's from God is good and perfect as it is. We just need to get out of our own way. And that's just true of everything in life. If we can just let go of these thoughts that we have to be perfect, see, that makes us rigid, makes us stubborn. We dig in our heels because we expect certain things in this life, and then it doesn't go the way we think it should go. We should ourselves, or we should each other, But all we have to do is relax and know who we really are, bringing out that beautiful spiritual essence that is in every single one of us. And the beautiful thing about this church is that the love is always felt here. And that's the whole idea. Once we get into that rhythm of just letting go of the junk in life. And obviously there's sometimes, of course, we have big traumatic experiences. But the more we know, we can call upon the power within us to express itself, and really itself is God. We are expressions of God. We'll walk through these traumatic times so much easier, with so much more grace and peace. And so think of the spiritual experiences you've had. Know what that feels like in your body to be aligned with your true essence, the truth of you. And be willing to let go so you can transform into the next level. When we look around in nature, I think of the crab and the lobster. If they weren't what if they didn't want to let go of their shells? They wouldn't be able to go into maturity as beings, right? And the little tadpoles, I remember catching tadpoles when I was a little girl in a ditch. I was just fascinated by these little black, squirmy looking things. We'd put them in jars and watch them for a while, and what would the tadpole think if all of a sudden their tail started dissolving and then these appendages, these stiff, like jointed legs came out, and all of a sudden they could hop out of their ditch? That's the same with us. We can transform everything about our life if we go with God, if we go with that Christ essence, if we go with that higher power, higher self. And we're being guided and directed by that all the time. We just have to listen to it and follow the guidance. I know the biggest times in my life I've gotten in trouble is when I got the guidance. I was so grateful to hear it, but then I didn't want to do it. Does that happen to you? Yeah, we all do that. So we learn each time. So this power is symbolized by the color russet, which I actually found some russet pants to wear today just because of that. And so that's the color of this power. And the spot in our body to focus on as we're practicing letting go is right down at the bottom of the tailbone. And there's a nerve center there that informs our brain all about release and letting go. And so we can kind of focus on that spot down at the bottom of our tailbone and where all the organs of elimination are in our body, and just go into the silence and imagine that letting go of the power within us. It's expanding and expanding, and what we want to release, we can let go of easily. So we're going to practice that this month, and I'd love to hear some of your letting go stories, some of your transformational stories. And I'm going to close with a quote from Meister Eckhart, 13th century mystic. Meister Eckhart said, "There where clinging to things end is where God begins to be. If a cask is to contain wine, you must first pour out the water. The cask must be bare and empty, and therefore, if you wish to receive divine joy and God, first pour out your clinging to things. Everything that is to receive must be empty." And so that is my prayer for all of us this month, to be willing to receive, because as we release, we know the new and good follows. As we open our hearts, as we open our minds, and as we practice this beautiful power of elimination. And so it is. And blessings to everyone. And so we're going to have some music now.
You haven't decided what you're going to play yet?
I like the idea of becoming pure and empty and pouring out the stagnant water. So there's a song here called "For the Pure in Heart." It was based on a daily word, I think, mostly. I get a lot of ideas from the daily word.
That's really bad.
For the pure in heart, Life is a simple thing
Ugh.
with nothing but joy to bring. Living in sorrow for the pure in heart. There's no need to be afraid. Everything will be made clear by tomorrow. So follow your heart into your dreams be true. Do what you love, and they will come true. For the pure in heart, it's clear which path to take. You can trust any choice you make. When
Okay,
you're
I'm
in
sorry. This is really bad. Thank you.
So follow your dreams until your heart beats true. Do what you love, and love will come true. For the pure in heart, it's clear not to let go. Don't be hard to know when we're pure in heart.
Thank you.
That was beautiful. So at this time, we embrace the principle of giving as a spiritual practice. So you're invited to take your love offering in your hand or in your imagination if you've given online or sent a check or put it in the basket already. And now we'll bless our gifts, knowing that as we give, our blessings are multiplied. So let's repeat our blessing affirmation together. Divine love expressed through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And now let us now give thanks for the continued growth and prosperity of our beautiful ministry. Hold these words in your heart. Unity of Gainesville, Florida is richly blessed and in the flow of universal abundance. We give thanks that just the right people with loving hearts and skills to help us grow are attracted to join us. We accept the good that enriches us and all with whom we have contact. We are prosperous, loving, and healthy, joyfully co-creating an abundant life. And so it is. So now, if Miss Wynn, there she is. Oh, here come the children, virtual children. Dad was just too warm, I guess. Well, in Sunday school, when we're talking about the power of elimination or release, our nature symbol is a butterfly. And if you think about, it's very visual for the children to think about how that caterpillar goes and makes a cocoon. And he doesn't hold on and say, "Let me out, I'm not coming out." No way. He comes out joyful. He spreads his wings and is free. Thank you, Miss Gwen. So let's bless these children and the children they symbolize and the children from all over the earth as we rub our hands together get some energy going. And I'll say it and you say it after me. We'll do it call and response. Children, we love you. We bless you.
We bless you.
We appreciate you.
We appreciate you.
We behold the Christ's presence within you. And we see you doing wondrous things
We see you doing wondrous things.
together. We love you. We love you. We really, really love you. Great. And now we'll have our peace song and prayer for protection. So let's stand and circle up, just keep a little bit of distance.
I do have one announcement.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, I got
You
it.
got
And so just one announcement. And is Giovanna here today oh, there's Giovanna, who is our new staff member, Giovanna. And we're blessing you and so glad to have you. And you can meet her after the service. She's our new administrative person in the back office. And we bless her and we bless Barbara as well. We're going to bring Barbara up here. Let's do that right now. Barbara, come on up. We're going to say goodbye to Barbara and hello to Giovanna. So blessings, and we're so glad you made it today. Thank you, Giovanna.
Thank you, Barbara, for all you are and all you've been to us. And we're so glad you'll continue to run a bookstore and be a part of it. We love you.
Hey.
This is the word. We're so glad to have you part of our real happy to be here.
So if you come by the church Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Jackie, is that right? Giovanna's there in the office. That's who you'll see here. Say it again. 10 to 2, Tuesdays through Thursday. And one other announcement, this is a little business thing, I'll be real quick. We are reaching the end of the year where we need to be electing new board members. We have a nominating team. Gary, raise your hand. Dee, raise your hand. This is our nominating team. They need a couple more members of that committee of the board, one member. All right, so if you're interested in volunteering, fine, let them know. Also, we need people who would like to run for the board. If you have been a member of the church for at least a year or a member of another Unity church and come here, you'd be eligible, and you can talk to them about the requirements are. So I want you to see Gary or Dee if you have some interest in becoming a leader. And to learn more about what the board does, you're always invited to board meetings. The next one is next Tuesday, this coming Tuesday. It starts around 6:30, the formal meeting. We start at 6, but so you can get on Zoom, get the link on our website and visit the board meeting if you would. We're inviting everybody. And Lori back there is our board president, so we bless her. All right. Now we can sing the peace song and we'll say the prayer for protection. Okay, so in a circle if you like, and feel free to socially distance, or also if you don't want to join hands, just hold your hand in prayer. It's fine.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, and with the gospel to me. With God as we love, and we all Let's walk with each other. In harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be our moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. You take me stronger, each moment in peace and the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.